Hello and thank you for joining us on this week's ISP F1 Visa Navigator. My name is Houston Kathurima. If your F1 student visa was refused and you are reapplying soon after, you will likely face the question, what has changed since your last interview? This can be daunting, especially if your personal circumstances haven't significantly changed in the short time since the refusal. U.S. consular officers commonly advise applicants to reapply only when they have new evidence or a significant change of circumstances. For example, much stronger financial ties or family ties. The key is to present new information or clarification in your second interview, giving the officer a solid reason to reconsider your case. Now, why do visa officers ask what has changed? They do ask this question to determine if there is any new factor or improvement that might justify approving your visa after previous denial. They have access to notes from your last interview and the reason you are denied. If you have no new evidence or explanation to offer, the officer will have every reason to deny your visa again right away. On the other hand, if you can truthfully answer that something is different, even if it's not a huge life event, you give the officer a tangible reason to reconsider. When a visa is refused under 214B, applicants are told the denial isn't permanent and they can apply again, but only when they have fixed the issues or have new evidence. Essentially, the officer is checking if you have addressed the previous shortcomings. If you walk into a second interview and give exactly the same answers as before with no additional info, you should not expect a different result. Now let us look at how to prepare a strong answer. The good news is you do not necessarily need a dramatic life change to answer this question well. What you do need is a clear strategy to highlight any new information, clarification, or preparation since your last interview. And here is how to do that. First, reflect on the previous interview. So pinpoint why you think your visa was refused, review the denial notice, and recall the interviewer's reactions. Common reasons include insufficient funding proof, lack of convincing ties to home, or inadequate answers about your study plans. Understanding the weakness in your last interview is crucial to formulating what needs to change. The other thing is gather new evidence or achievements. Ask yourself what new evidence or developments you can present now. Did you secure additional funds or a scholarship since last time? Have you improved your test scores or obtained a new academic achievement? Did you gather missing documents, for example, updated bank statements, sponsor letters that you hadn't presented before? Even small improvements can count. For instance, if financial capability was a concern, show higher account balances or new funding sources. If ties to home were in question, you might bring proof of community involvement, a family business, or an employment offer back home. The goal is to demonstrate concrete steps taken to identify your application. The other thing is identify information you didn't mention before. Often, something might already be true about your situation, but you failed to communicate it clearly in the first interview. This is your chance to correct that. Think about any positive aspect of your case that the officer may not have known before because you didn't bring it up. For example, perhaps you have a clear career plan in your home country after graduation, but you never got to explain it earlier. Make sure you explain it now. Or maybe you didn't mention that you received a partial scholarship or that your parents set aside savings for your education. Highlight those facts now. The other thing is improve your explanations. Even without new documents, you can change how you answered questions to give a better impression. If your last interview didn't go well due to poor answers or nerves, prepare clearer responses now. For instance, if you stumbled when asked about your choice of program or university, practice a concise and convincing explanation linking your studies to your future goals in your home country. The other thing is emphasize strong ties and intent to return. If your ties to your home country were not convincing earlier, make them a focal point of your new interview. Visa experts advise that you bring up the strongest points of your case early in the interview. So if you have any evidence of strong ties home, mention them. This could include family obligations, property, a job offer, or business in your home country, or simply a well-articulated plan to leverage your US education at home. The other thing to do is show financial readiness. If financial doubts led to the denial, be ready to prove that is no longer an issue. In your answer, you can state clearly what steps you took to bolster your funding. For example, since my last interview, my parents have deposited an additional this amount into my education fund, which covers at least the first year of my program. If you have new bank statements, loan approval letters, or scholarship award letters, mention that you have these documents and offer to show them if the officer would like to see the proof. The other thing is practice a concise explanation. While you must cover the key changes, keep your answer focused and concise. The officer likely won't give you a lot of time to ramble. Plan a short response that hits the main points. That is, acknowledge the prior refusal, state the main reason or the misunderstanding behind it, and then immediately explain what is different now. Now, facing what has changed since your last visit question after an F1 visa refusal can be challenging, but it is also an opportunity. It allows you to demonstrate your personal growth, better preparation, and responsiveness to the feedback implicit in your prior denial. At the International Scholars Program, this is exactly what we prepare students to do. Take the next step in your success journey. Join our community of bold achievers and let us guide you from admissions, funding to visa success and beyond. If you have a bachelor's degree with at least a 2.8 GPA out of 4, and for Ugandan students, 3.8 out of 5, you are eligible to join us, and your high school performance does not matter. Visit our website, that is www.internationalscholarsprogram.com, and grab our program handbook. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, all at International Scholars Program. Thank you so much for watching today's ISP F1 Visa Navigator. See you in the next episode.